Hello, fellow trumpeters. Thanks for joining me today. I want to do something a little bit different today, something more interactive. I've been trying to figure out how to do this, and at first I thought maybe I should use audio, but I decided in order to play duets together and make it more like we were actually in person, there are actually a lot of visual cues that you get and give when you're playing with other musicians. And this is one of the things that we need to become so good at that it becomes instinctive in terms of our connection with other people as we're playing. So the plan is to go through the Arban Duets. Many of them are simple, especially the first ones, and that's where we're going to start today. So the way I'd like this to work is I'll go ahead and play the first part, and while I'm playing the first part, you can play the second part with me. Now, of course, I'm assuming that you have an Arban book. Most trumpet players do. If you don't have one, it's a wonderful resource, so you should probably get one. And in this section of the book, in the current edition, the one that I have on page 306, it says 68 duets for 2 cornets. So that's going to be our kind of starting place. Now, what I'd like to do is just play through the first part, and then I'll play through the second part, and then I'm going to give you a couple of tips, because there's so much that can be learned from doing this kind of work. And it's fun work, by the way, at least most of my students think so. I want to actually dedicate this to my students. I have so many, but Ethan, Jack, Lemuel, Emily, Zoe, Caitlin, so many students that I've enjoyed playing duets with, and I hope this works as well as I think it may, for us to be able to do this on a regular basis, without having, in the case of my Chinese students, to travel halfway around the world in order to do so. So here we go. The first duet is called Sacred Song. And there are a couple things that you want to do whenever you look at a piece of music. If you've never seen it before, we train ourselves, we become accustomed in the habit of looking at the notation. And from the notation, what we're really doing is translating that into sound. So this, I immediately look at it, I see it's in 3/4. That tells me something. It says moderato. That gives me some information. The title is Sacred Song. So it's a song of some kind, something with religious meaning, possibly. Okay, there's a hint. What I'm doing here is gathering information. So it's not a mechanical process. I'm trying to figure out what the character of the music is as best I can. Of course, the best way to do that is to just go ahead and play it. And that can be a process of learning, of discovery, and that's exactly as it should be. So in this case, I'm giving you kind of my interpretation, and I might have a different interpretation the next time I play it, and that's perfectly fine. But it's good to have an idea of what you want something to sound like ahead of time. Now I'm giving you an example, so you'll have a basis. You can listen first and then see what you can glean from what you hear, or just jump right in it and play with the part. I hope this works for you. Here we go. This is the first trumpet part, the Sacred Song. The reason why I wanted to do this with video rather than audio is because I can conduct. I can show you when to come in. And if you can catch it or not, that's a matter of how clear I am being, and how good you are at catching the signals. Some of you, it's going to be second nature already, and others, you're just learning how to do this, and I realize that. So that's one of the things I'm going to give you some pointers about after we get done playing. Here we go. Okay, that's the first part. I hope you enjoyed it. You can always go back to that section and just play it over and over again, play along with. Now, I think we're all human here. There might be some aliens in the crowd, but I can't be sure about that. What I'm saying is that we aren't perfect. We do things kind of randomly sometimes, but this discipline of playing a musical instrument is reaching toward that kind of control that allows us to be musically expressive. And there are a lot of things that we need to get comfortable with so that the control feels easy. It doesn't feel like we're managing too many things at once or thinking about too many things at once. We're just hearing the music and playing it. That's really the goal. I'm going to go ahead and play the second trumpet part now, and when I'm done, then I'll give you a few pointers. And as we work through these duets in this series, a lot of the pointers are going to be the same. And that's because it's really necessary that you master many of these things and make them, as I said, instinctive or second nature, automatic in your playing. And that's how you become more and more free to feel what the other person is doing and to play more expressively, to get the music from the inside to the outside. So let me go ahead and play the second trumpet part. I have a little correction here in the most current edition, the one that I have. The second trumpet part starts on a G. In all the other editions, it starts on an E, which would be the third in this key, in C major. And so I don't know if that's a mistake or not. But all the other auditions, you have a third here. You can check that out for yourself and decide what you think sounds best. In my case, I'm going to play it like the 1894 edition and the 1936 edition, etc., and assume that they were correct. Okay, here we go. Okay, I hope that works for you. Let's go back and take a look at some things. I've had a wonderful opportunity to teach many, many students of all different levels over many years. And something that makes our job a little bit easier is to realize we all have very many of the same problems. We each have our individual struggles in various areas, but the things that we run into as trumpet players there's a lot of commonality here. And one of them is, for a lot of people, and this still bothers me sometimes, I'll be honest with you, when I see a P or PP, piano pianissimo, marked in the part, my tendency is to tighten up a little bit automatically. It's a reaction. Why? Because I played in a lot of groups, and you get this a lot when you're playing too loud. Then if they want the trumpets to play softer, they'll give you the hand. And what's your reaction? You know, it's like you tend to tighten up, and then you end up holding back. So the first thing that you want to do is get more comfortable with that whole idea of dynamics. For one thing, you're trying to balance with another person, and it is a matter of interpretation. How loud is piano in this piece? Well, you want to make contrast within piano pianissimo, piano mezzo piano, mezzo forte. And it's challenging to make those contrasts. And so any serious player is going to be trying to become more expert at and have more facility with being comfortable throughout their entire dynamic range and have a very large dynamic range. We don't use it all the time, but I can tell you from experience in the orchestra, sometimes you can't play soft enough. You really learn how to play soft. And so you have to get comfortable with it. And many soloists never really play soft. They play within the comfort zone, and because they're not playing in an orchestra getting this, they don't have to go any quieter than that. So my advice to you is pretty simple. Instead of thinking how loud is piano, think more in terms of what is the appropriate tone of voice. What is the energy? What is the character? Now, this says sacred song, so that gives you a hint. And the music is, to me, it's evidently relaxing, tranquil, maybe a little contemplative. It's very simple, so we shouldn't be trying too hard. And so the piano dynamic, I guess what I'm trying to say is find your voice and then sing with the right character of voice, with the right attitude in your voice. And think of the dynamics as that through the whole dynamic range. And you notice, especially at the extremes, when we're playing loud, we tend to force a little bit. When we're playing softer, we tend to tighten and hold back a little bit. You want to even things out as much as possible when you do that. Okay? I hope that's useful to you. And I hope that playing these, maybe playing them over and over again and listening to them over and over again, might be helpful for you to get a more refined idea of some of the things that are going on. Okay, I'll see you in the next installment, and have a good day. See you later. Bye-bye.